Hello, everyone. Economic Ninja here. I've got a warning about the price of silver, and I want to talk really big 20,000 foot level discussion today. This is on the heels of silver hitting $45 an ounce, and I couldn't be happier. But at the same time, I want people to have a very realistic view of what's going on in the precious metals market, along with real estate and a handful of other markets. Okay. Our dollar is falling in value. Whether you see it or not, when it comes to the DXY, a basket of currencies that are competing with the dollar, you can't deny that it's failing up against Bitcoin, crypto, silver, and gold. Um, so let's break this down. First, I do want to say, and this is something I really highly suggest people cycle into, tax liens. If you want it the last day for the sale, links down below. When you learn how to do this, and people that were watching the video last night or yesterday, I called Sandy, a subscriber, made 38%. He's had multiple wins. I want to say 8 or 12 tax liens already purchased. 38% he made in 3 weeks on a tax lien. I believe that one was in Florida. I don't remember. Anyway, my point being is there's stupid amounts of money, and people are grasping onto their silver like it's this pot of gold and that it's going to go exponential, and they're going to be very disappointed because of the time lag. Okay. A lot of you bought silver when this channel started at $14. I said, this is the play. Look at this. Then we moved into crypto after that. We took our silver winnings from $14 to $23. We moved it into Bitcoin when it was $60,000. Now at Bitcoin's what, 111. It's about doubled. And we keep moving from cycle to cycle, doubling our money. Okay. And we need to think about these bigger economic factors. So there's a story out of Zero Hedge, and this is, I pay for the expanded version, so the stuff that you don't, it's expensive. So, but here's the story. Parabolic silver, froth meets FOMO. Okay, says silver continues squeezing, printing another new all-time high as of this writing. RSI is very overbought, but we have seen RSI at extremes this entire month. Okay, this isn't an all-time high. Okay, the author just had it wrong, but I understand, because if you do a quick Google search on the charts of silver, the all-time high for silver was not at $45. Note, silver is well above the upper part of this trend channel, but a bit frothy, but momentum is huge. Okay, so it says here, ETFs, the buying is on. So people are buying paper ETFs. I'm going to put a link down to the company that I use to buy and store my precious metals. You can also have it delivered and all of that stuff. It's, I believe, the largest precious metals dealer in the country. But I have it stored. So if you want a link to that, I did it with them because it's super liquid. But it says here, the silver VIX has spiked lately. This is the volatility index for silver. But we are still below upside panic volatility levels that we saw earlier this year. We outlined our silver upside calls logic this summer and continued, to like expressing views via opinions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, look, this is what's important. As silver gets to its all-time high, it's going to start getting trending on the news and on social media. People are going to start freaking out. Human beings love buying things when everyone else is buying, and they love buying things at the top. Okay, they love that, and that does carry price momentum forward a little bit until it starts to get a little, like the story says, frothy, meaning that volume falls off, and all of a sudden people start to panic and sell, and you see these sharp little snapbacks. Okay, on the long term, do I see six-figure silver? Yes. Do I see that in the next couple of years? I really do. But what is let's say $100 silver? What does that bring you? Oh, and let me throw this out. I'm going to make this very clear. Do I believe that in my lifetime? And do me a favor, type yes or no if you agree with this. An ounce of silver will be worth more than an ounce of gold. I believe that. I believe that will happen in my lifetime. Okay. But I want to say it with a huge but. Silver, I believe you're going to see it once it clears its all-time high. It's going to hit resistance, just like any technical analysis chartist will tell you, right? Unless there is some massive development, like a country that mines primarily silver says, we're not going to sell it anymore. Like what Russia did with, why am I blanking out? Rhodium. back in 2006 or 2005. They said, hey, we're not going to ship it. And they were a primary, miner of rhodium. If that happens, all bets are off. Okay. But, and it could be, that could happen because of these trade wars. A country could just say, screw it. I'm not doing it. Right. Canada could do that. If Canada was smart, they'd do that against the current administration and go, hey, you know what? We're not going to sell you any silver. It's like, ooh, because America doesn't have. Do they have any primary silver mines? I don't think there's any primary active silver mines in America. Okay, they're extremely rare. So just that headline alone. Now it is a byproduct of other mining operations, but the truth is the Democrats have done a great job of shutting down mining operations for so long and locking up real estate. Anyway, we won't get into that. A lot of people don't know how that works. So the move, once it blasts out its current channel, and goes past its all-time high, we'll see probably a pretty quick move to $100 silver, but that's a doubling. So the question is, how much money can you make in another asset class? That's why I was bringing up tax liens forever, because like Sandy said yesterday, he made 38% in one. Now that's not typical. Usually you can make, once you start learning tax liens and how to auction them, buy them quick, because real estate's falling off a cliff. People aren't paying their property taxes. I'm about to do a story on the Real Estate Ninja channel about how home sales are faltering right now. And Redfin's coming out with bad news. When Redfin and Zillow come out with bad news, it's a big deal because they know it hurts their bottom line. So see how you play these cycles in silver. And can you guys do me a favor? Type 1 if you were one of the people that took your $14 silver when you started with the channel, you sold it in the 20s and you bought crypto, Bitcoin, let's say, or XRP, and you rode that wave up. And now you're getting ready, or you've already sold it. See, there's already some people that are doing this. Then they sold it and they moved into the next asset class. And the deal is once you start thinking about this way and you go, look, I'm not going to go for this massive run from 14 to 50 on silver. I know, and this is going to piss off a lot of silver bugs, because what happens is you get it in your head. You're like, no, I'm going to hold on to it. It's going to make me the big money. What happens is you hold it so tight that as it hits its all-time high, it starts coming down, and then you're just holding a bag, right? It's that momentum wave. And so I know I'm always seem to be the bearer of bad news. It's because I'm just 3 to 6, maybe a year ahead of time, trying to see people position themselves in the depressed assets right now. You buy the depressed assets and then you let the FOMO of other people come in. That's how wealthy people are wealthy. Warren Buffett was buying railroad and transport stocks in mid 2007 when people are going, what are you doing? They're crashing. And he's like, and see, and I want people to understand this too. I followed Warren Buffett very closely in the late 90s and the early 2000s. He wasn't as popular as he is now. I hope people understand that. Type 2 if you understand that. Because you see, before that, he wasn't known as the Oracle of Omaha in the 90s. He wasn't, because it's not until you go through a big cycle, and Warren Buffett had enough cash because he had sold so many assets. I want to say he cleared off about 45%, 50% of Berkshire's assets prior to the 2008 crash. I watched him do it in real time because I was liquidating all my real estate. And a lot of people were sort of snickering at him like, you don't know what you're doing. Yet when the Fed called him personally, the Treasury Secretary called him personally and needed a bailout from Warren Buffett because he was one of the only people that were liquid during the 2008 crash, that's when all of a sudden people started to worship him. All right? He wasn't always like that. So you've got people like Ray Dalio out there right now. Hey guys, just real quick, this is a big deal. Type 3 if you've heard of the headlines or Ray Dalio talking about dark times ahead. Type 3 if you've heard this in the last 72 hours. The reason why it's important to realize what's going on is because for the last 72 hours, people have been freaking out over Ray Dalio's words. Well, Ray Dalio is actually pretty much known as he's been really negative on the economy lately. Very successful man, right? Well, the reason why it's important, now look at how many people are typing 3. This was trending for the last 72 hours on Google. You notice I didn't do any stories about it, but this is what you need to take from this. And this is how you price silver and gold right now. What's happening is Ray has been negative on the economy for years because he, just like myself and many of you, know the facts of the economy. And even though the stock market value is going up, he knows what's happening to our economy when it affects how it affects other geopolitical, other economies, right? Geopolitical events, and that we're collapsing, right? Just like I knew housing was collapsing in 2005, so I started selling all my homes. Just like before the .com, many people felt something change. Few people did something about it and positioned themselves beforehand, right? So, but here's the important part. Ray's been negative on the economy for the last couple of years, handful of years, right? The last 72 hours, people are listening to his words and heeding the advice, or they're starting to at least panic a little bit. And when I say panic, they're not out there. It's not a fire sale. They're like trying to figure out, what do I do? What do I do? I can see it. I get it, because everyone now inside has that inherent feeling, oh crap, we're in trouble. Okay. So that's why they're running to gold. That's why they're running to silver. But at a certain point, the silver buys stop happening. The price will falter and slam down a little bit. It won't crash. All right. But if you are, and this is my suggestion, this is what I do. Let's say you got 10 grand in silver. You bought like $5,000 worth when it was half this price, like 22 bucks. It's now sitting at 45 bucks. This is my idea. This is what the ninja has done many times in the past. And you're now up to 10,000. I personally peel off a little bit, maybe half. That's your original investment, right? You know my rule, anytime something doubles, peel back your original investment. That's playing it safe. That's a guaranteed win, right? You pull it back and you go, what's another asset class that I can get into to now increase this $5,000, my seed money? You always need your seed money. But I'm going to watch so many people panic, and then they're going to sell as it's going down. You're like, oh my gosh. When people can sell something as it's going up and increasing in value, you do two things. You've locked in a win, right? If you doubled your money, you lock in a win. And then what happens is you actually change the DNA structure in your body, and you start to realize, because there's a sensation, a feeling of winning. And what happens is your body goes, oh, this is what it feels like. Do you know how rare it is to win in this world in finance? I don't think people understand this, because most people, especially in America, are very deceived about the feeling, the sensation of financial winning, because they're deceived because they drive a truck they can't afford because they're paying payments. But it looks nice, and they get a dopamine hit or a good sensation when someone compliments their truck or looks at it or gives them the thumbs up. Or maybe they're in a house they can't afford, right? Maybe they've went out to dinner on the credit card and they don't have enough to pay that credit card bill off that month, so they're paying interest, meaning they couldn't afford it. But they've got that. Those are the wrong financial sensations you should not be feeling. But when you sell something and you're able to sit there and go, I just sold as something's going up because it doubled, I've got that feeling. And even if it goes up even more, cool, my other half's going to crush it, and I'm not going to FOMO back in. That is real financial winning. Please say amen if I'm affecting it, if you guys are getting this right now, if this makes sense. Because I'm telling you right now, there have been a lot of things, and I've lost business partnerships over this. I bought something for 6 cents and I sold it for 95 cents. All right, an asset. And my business partner was so mad, because how would I have known? And we put it into something else that tripled, right? But that asset went from 95 cents to 15 bucks 90 days later. Now it subsequently crashed, and today it's worth like it's in the 75-cent range. Okay. So, but my business partner lost his ever loving mind. He's like, we could have been worth this much. I'm like, you never would have sold. We never would have sold. And we never would have seen it. So now we took that money. I mean, from 6 cents to 95 cents. I'm like, that's a dude, seriously, type 10 if you wish you could make money like that. And I'm not, this doesn't happen every day, but it's like, this is the disconnect we have. And precious metals investors have got a very serious disconnect with the markets. They think they're on top of it because they're buying something ahead because they're getting ready for a crash. But that crash never seems to come because it doesn't happen in the right timing. Okay. I'm probably the only YouTuber that's out there. Instead of taking victory laps and go, well, we're going to all-time highs, we're going to hundreds. I'm like, get ready and watch out. That's what made me financially free. That's what has made me wealthy. Okay. Always being on guard. And all these silver channels and gold channels, go buy more. Use my affiliate link. Sure, I got an affiliate link too if it's the company I use. And have I sold any of my precious metals? No. You want to know why? Because I don't have to. Because I did for so many years the doubling theory, when I doubled, I pulled my original investment out and I took the precious metal money, I put it into crypto, right? I still got the other silver and the gold, but then I went and then crypto exploded and then I pulled that out and I bought real estate with my initial seed money. And then I kept buying. Before you know it, these baskets are so big, I'm like, I don't got to sell anything. That's how you get rich. And no one's going to tell you that on YouTube. There are a bunch of tools that got barely any money in the market. They look like they're fancy, driving around fancy cars. They couldn't even buy those cars if they tried. Probably why none of them will interview me. That's okay. I got you. Can you do me a favor? Let's just go a little freaking crazy right now. Ask me a question. Anyone ask me a question? I never do this because it's really hard when you're live. All right. Oh, here we go. Someone says I'm making money off of us idiots. Never gave him a cent. He doesn't need it. This is from Mark. All right. Mark, you are absolutely correct. I'm making money off of you. As you are spending your time and attention watching this video, Google splits the ad revenue with me. Thank you, Mark. If you bought a course on how to buy real estate or how to buy tax liens, hey, links down below, everyone. Oh, Mark, I'm going to make more money. You are correct. I'm making money off of you. But guess what, Mark? No one's going to buy the next course if I don't crush it for them. That's how it works. Repeat business has been amazing. My students are incredible. So everyone say goodbye to Mark. I don't even need, he's just doing it to himself. Mark, tell your mom I want a bologna sandwich. I love bologna because he puts it out. All right. So ask me a question. Let's do this. Where can I sell my silver? I highly suggest you start with your local coin shop because we want to keep local business in business, but do not let them take you. All right. Right now, silver, I wouldn't take a dime under spot price for an ounce of silver. All right. There's one question. Martin Armstrong says there'll be a war in 2026. Yeah, I think, I wouldn't be surprised. Why? Because as economies collapse, that's a moneymaker and a deterrent for the government to go do something and print money in the backside. Okay. No problem. Where do you see silver going? I see silver going in the next year or so, 2 years, max, $100. Okay. I see someday before I die it going to the same price as gold. I'm not joking. Let's see here. Let's see. Any good questions, guys? Come on now. You got something. Let's see here. Let's see here. Come on. You guys don't have any questions? It's awkward. We're live. I never do this. Yeah, pawn shops suck out for so like someone's like, hey, where do I get the most of my silver? You don't. So I want all of you to have a lot of confidence when you walk into the store. Remember, you've got what they want. Okay, they're selling silver, they're selling gold, coins. You've got what they want. Don't take the price they offer you. Okay, just say this is what I want, spot price. And because I already know you're going to sell it for over spot. So if you don't want it, we could still be friends. Don't get angry with them. Just go, here's my phone number. If you ever want to buy it for spot, let me know and watch. Like a day later, 2 days later, hey, I'll take it. I got somebody in here willing to buy it for a couple bucks over spot. Super easy, okay? You could be super nice. It only takes small amounts when you go. Let's see. Someone sleeps with their 10-ounce bars. I think you should I think you should just go date someone. Let's see here. Let's go. Oh, someone says my courses are amazing. Thank you. That's how you build a company. You put out products at a good price that help people make money and you sell lots of them. Now Justin says he's not selling his silver until it's past 1,000. So let me say this, and this is not an insult. This is literally coming from love right here. All right. I want all of you to be wealthy. Okay. Because if you're wealthy and you're good people, you're going to be able to make lots of other people happy because you're going to be able to help them. All right. I'm in a position where I can say that too. I'm not going to sell my silver until it's X price because I have lots of other baskets of money making me money, right? Cash flow. I've got all kinds of stuff going on. I want you to get there. So how you get there is not by holding on to one asset. If you only have one asset, once it's doubled, pull back your original amount and then look and hunt for a place and stop looking at the price action of that first thing. Because if it drops, you're stoked and you're like, oh, I could buy it back. If it skyrockets, you're like, I'm still stoked. I have my win, and now I'm going to take that money and I'm going to go put it somewhere else that's going to make me more money in a different area, different field. That's why I was telling people, learn about tax liens. This is stupid money. I mean, it's stupid if you just dive into it. I know somebody that started with a $250 tax lien in 2015. He's making $300,000 a year just in tax liens. This is insane. He worked in the oil fields. He has no education, and he'll be the first one to tell you he's the nicest guy in the world, give you the shirt off his back. And he's killing. He's actually one of my coaches, Coach Raul. I got two coaches that coach people if they want to go take it further and to go big with this, start an LLC and do all that stuff. And now they're got a full-on company doing these things. But you got to go hunt for some type of asset that you could take your initial seed money and go make money. All right. Let's see here. Who else? Anyone else? I guess no one else has any other questions. All right. I hope you got something out of this. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, hey, Mark's still here. Mark says my pennies. Mark's still talking. Whatever. I hope Mark feels better today about himself. Hopefully you have an awesome day, everyone. The Economic Ninja is out.